Well, here we are at the old workbench, and as you can see, it's got some dirt on her, some 60 years of grease and grime. Now I have had the accelerator pump off because I replaced that out of the kit that I bought for it. I didn't do the whole kit because, I mean, why? If you don't need it. Yeah, I know I needed it at the time. I didn't think so. I didn't think it was important. But I do have the rest of the kit here, which has all the rest of the goodies in it, except for that part that I threw on the floor. But that's okay, that was just the old accelerator pump. It's not any good anyway. I don't even know why I kept it this long. But you can probably see, because of the way I look, that I got my ears lowered this morning. You know, I know a lot of you are probably used to the hat, and you're missing the hat. Me too. But look, folks, tomorrow's Valentine's Day, and you know, Miss Nikki, she don't really like the hat. I mean, if we go out to eat or something, you know, especially for Valentine's Day, she wants me to look halfway presentable, you know. She wants her arm candy. You know what I mean? So, I'm going to give the lady what she wants. I'm going to get my hair cut sometimes and try to look halfway decent for her, you know. Alright, so what we're going to do here at this time is we're going to start taking this old carburetor apart and see if we can't get it cleaned up without just losing everything. We'll put some of these here screws out of that old fuel pump into that so that I can have this little magnetic tray for my parts out of this carburetor. Alright, here we go. Here we stop. Got to get my big screwdriver. I'm not sure if that kit comes with a float or not. But that looks like that's set about right. Just about right. Maybe a little bit high. Definitely getting plenty of fuel. But if you look here, that gas and air is all pretty dirty. There's quite a bit of rust and stuff on that metering block. So, I'd say that's part of the problem. Yeah, it's no wonder that's not working right. The choke here, it's full of a bunch of gunk and oil. That can't be right. We're gonna boil that out too. Stick that in the pot. All right. Well, here we are. Everything's all cleaned up, and this turned out really, really well. I mean, it looks really clean. Here's all the pieces to it, and I got my little rebuild kit over here. And what am I doing? I don't need these anymore. This baby is clean. Right. So we're going to start putting her back together. Just taking them. There's our needle valve and our float adjustment. It come with all that. That's cool. Yeah, all those little bits and pieces. Yep. Choke plate, choke gasket. I had to order a new mica choke, electric choke housing with the clock spring and all that in it, because it was cracked before, but when I bumped it with that wrench, it just finished it off. So had to order that, but we can get through this without it. It'll be a little bit. Ordered from Summit Racing. The one that comes with it, now the only thing that's available now is the one for the electric choke. This one actually heats the clock spring from manifold. It's got this tube right here. The heat comes up from the intake manifold and warms the choke up and opens it up. So we can get by without that for now. I'm assuming this float's good. I mean, it's the solid float. It's not the the brass hollow one that could possibly leak. Only thing with these is they can actually soak up fuel and get heavy, but I don't think this one was doing that, because we actually had fuel in the carburetor. It would have shut off, or it would have kept. No, actually would have kept running. But I don't know, it might be bad. It may be. I don't know. If it is, we'll change it later. But anyway, let's get this bad boy back together. All right. First thing I want to do is put this little, I guess this is a shuttle valve, down in there. And then I guess that goes on there, possibly. Don't see anything. Oh well, it could go on one of these float bowl bolts. Yeah, we've got new ones. So yeah, that's just a machine finish that goes down on there. So we got to get the gasket for that screw. Put some of these screws in. Had two of these gaskets that go under here. They're about the same, but these holes, one of these holes was a little bigger, and it allowed all these holes to line up better, so I used it. And I'm not going to crank down on them yet. Just going to put them down snug. Went ahead and ordered a float. I won't be able to get this all the way together today because I'm waiting on that. I just don't trust this float. So I did have an overloading problem. According to this drawing, it shows right here 12 and 13 that go under this little deal right here, which is number 11. The screw is number 9. 13 is a check ball and 12 is a check ball weight. This carburetor didn't have those in it. This carburetor had this in it, which is like a needle valve. What that is that's the pump discharge. So apparently they replaced that with this, or that replaced this, or this replaced that. I don't know which one, but it's what this was. This is what was in it. So we're going to put that back in it. But I think I can go ahead and put this choke assembly on. So I'm waiting for the choke thermostat. Little hitch pin in there. Okay. Go ahead and put the pump discharge in there. This is your boosters, is what this is. Had a gasket on the bottom and a gasket on the screw as well. Well, that good enough. Then I can put the choke plate in. I'll leave this unhooked so that I can put that in. Now, if I can get these back in there without ruining them. Let's just do one at a time. At least get them started. Yep. Hallelujah. Got that in there. Okay. Now we can put these two little cork gaskets in for the idle adjustment screws. Just push those down in there. Well, one side went in good. This side's stubborn. There we go. Turn this around backwards to push it down in there a little bit better. Put the screw in. And we'll run this down and then back it out one turn real lightly till it stops right there, right? And go out one. Let's do the other side. Kind of wobbly, just screwing into that cork till it gets down there a little ways. The cork keeps them tight, keeps them from vibrating. There's down. That one turn. That's good. Now we've got. We're waiting on the float. We can go ahead and put in the new needle valve. I'm going to put just a little bit of slickum on that seal before I put that in. That seal is what allows you to adjust this float from top side without any fuel leaking out. Goes down there. There we go. Just hold on to that and turn it down. Just kind of touch it there. We're not going to tighten it up just yet. See, we can't put the float bowl on because we need to wait for the new float. We can put this accelerator pump back on. All right. Put the screw in there. Okay. Okay. That's good. Let's see here. Go ahead and put these main jets back in. These are, see if we can see, these are 50s. Pretty standard. Make sure that gasket's lined up good. Tighten this new power valve up. And I'll do. Yep. That's about as far as we can go. It's about as far as we can go with this assembly because we're waiting on the float. So we're going to pick this back up again in a few days. We are back a couple days later. New toys from Summit Racing came in. Got the new choke thermostat, new float from a carburetor here. Right on. Let's put this bad boy together. Take the choke thermostat out. And new float. Like I said, this other float, I don't know, it's probably okay, but whenever I looked down in the intake manifold after I took this carburetor off, there was a ton of raw fuel in there. Now, I mean, it seemed like the needle valve was working all right, but I mean, who knows if it just wouldn't, you know, couldn't hold back the pressure of the fuel pump. I mean, it seems like it's working, but you know, I don't know how much pressure that is. All right, so let's go ahead and take our new float. The new float does seem a lot smoother and firmer than the old float. The old float does seem kind of chalky. Maybe it is porous where it's absorbing some fuel. I don't know, but we're putting the new one on. So I just got to take the spring off of here. If you look, it's just kind of pushed up on those two little clips there. We'll try to push it back up on this one. See if we can get it on there. May have to use a screwdriver or something to push it on there. I don't know. Maybe I'll get it just with my fingers. I got it on there part of the way. Don't want it to fly off there and lose it. Bounce behind something, under something, go into the abyss, as they say. All right, got that on there. Now, go ahead and see if we can install that in the carburetor without throwing it on the floor. Supposed to do this upside down for obvious reasons. popping that float on the post there. There you go. Looks good. Or at least to my untrained eyes. We just get one of these 50 new C-clips that they, or E-clips that they put in here. It's tiny. I'm sure that's why they give you so many. Doesn't cost nothing hardly. So you just throw a bunch of them in there. Okay. All right. Almost forgot that I got this little new little lapel microphone set so that my voice doesn't fade away whenever I turn away from the camera or whatever. I was using it the other day and I didn't realize it, but I played the video back and it didn't make any difference. So I looked at the instructions, which guys never do. I mean, whoever looks at instructions? Not me. I did this time though, so because it didn't work. And I had this, I don't know, is that called a USB-C? I don't know. I had that plugged into the back of the camera, but I'm supposed to have this 1/8 inch plugged into the microphone port. I mean, who'd have thought? So anyway, plug that in, and then you just push this little button here. A little green light comes on. Same thing with the microphone. On the back. Little buttons on the back. And that comes on. So then you hold it in for a couple seconds and it goes back off. So I'm gonna do that with this one too, so I don't take a chance on messing it up when I hook it up. Let's see if it works. That on. Now, and we'll see if that works. Okay, let's just see what we can do here now. So I think you're supposed to set this float with it upside down. It just says to set it level. You can see as I screw that in, I don't know if you can see that or not, but the float is lifting up. It's way above level now, or way below level. It's actually, that would be a low float level. So we're going to lower it back down a hair. Still a little bit low. It looks pretty good. Go ahead and tighten that up. For now, we can always come back and revisit that later. No, not that one. It's the 5/8 one. Yeah. may just be, it might just be a hair low, but I think that's all right for now. All right. Now, let's see if I can remember the order. Also, the instructions say on this to set this fast idle on the highest point of the cam. I can see where that is. Let's see here. There we go. And you're supposed to set 1200 RPMs, which, how do we know what that is right now? There's no way of telling. I guess the first thing I got to do is make sure the butterfly is all the way shut. That down. Okay. Which that is shut. Let's screw it down. Wasn't all the way shut. There's all the way shut. Now, let's put this on the highest cam. There we go. See where we're at. That looks extremely high. Like that throttle's way open. So we're just going to screw that screw out a little bit. This one right here. That's your fast idle cam screw. What we want to do is we want this gap right here to be smaller. We know where this is screwed in now. These plates are closed. It's just barely right at it. So, which, I don't know, that might be pretty close, but I'm going to back it out quite a bit. Just to make sure. And then I can always come in there and adjust that later. It's not as easy on the car, but we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. So we're just going to dial her back a little bit. And I guess what we'll do, so I've already positioned the gasket. You know, this can go on here only one way properly. So see, it's got these little locating lugs right here. I mean, if you turn that over, it don't fit them. So goes on like that. I already got the power valve installed. There we go. That fits nicely. I already put the main jets back in. Just check this, make sure this gasket for the float bowl looks like it can go either way. It's got these little slotted holes in the bottom. There's only one hole down here. So it's got one on both sides, so you can't put it on backwards, mess it up. So then kind of gently work that down on there so we don't mess it up, because it's a tight fit on those little locating lugs. Well made gasket. Good snug fit. Okay. Now, go ahead and put our filter bowl on. We want to make sure that this accelerator pump arm is out of the way. But our vent here, right, that has to be out of the way too. So pull your throttle back. Like that. Gotta get my accelerator pump arm out of the way there. Like so. Alrighty, I've already put my gaskets on these screws that hold the float bowl on. Had them ready to go. I think what I'm going to do though, there you go. I almost want to put a little bit of oil on those threads, just a little. Make them screw in there a little bit better. Just a drop. Just a little drop of encouragement. You know, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Drop of oil helps the threads work a little better. Let's try this one. I'm going to do the cross tightening pattern with this. Okay, so we have the float bowl on. We're gonna, looks like the actual accelerator pump is a little bit too aggressive, possibly. So you're supposed to hold this accelerator pump lever all the way down, and then the fuel all the way, the throttle all the way open, and there's supposed to be a 15 thousandths gap right there, which there's not. So we're going to see if we can get that. See what we got now. Still touching it a little bit. Hold that all the way. Hard to tell. Where fully compressed is, but I do have my feeler gauges here. I've got my 15 thou feeler gauge. Okay, let's open this all the way up and just see if we can get it in there. Kind of hard to hold that way. Try to use that napkin. Yeah, it's about right. I might just give it a little bit more just in case I wasn't holding it good and tight. There we go. Just gonna a little turn like that. Okay, the next thing is the vent. It says with the throttle valve fully closed, the distance between the top of the fuel bowl and the vent should be 1/16 of an inch, which is about 60 thousandths. 62 closer, but that looks like a lot. Fully says you got to bend it, so that is pretty high. So what we're going to do is bend this arm right here to where it doesn't hold it quite as far open. Well, that seems a little bit loose, actually. You want it over the top of the hole. Let's tighten that up. Now, let's see if we can bend it a little bit. Let's see here. Get in here. Go that way. Now, still a little bit high. Well, I do not like that is bent over there, kind of sideways. And we're getting closer. Make this bend a little bit more. Alright. Now, see that? It does look better. 60 thousandths goes. It's actually a little bit more than 60, I think. Go a little bit more. A little bit higher. I want to increase that angle a little bit. Alright. Trying to take that travel out of that little vent with the clip on it. Okay. A little bit too much. Okay, so now it gets tricky. Gotta go back a hair. That's pretty good. We've got about a 60 thousandths gap with it fully closed. I don't know why you want that to. No, I don't know why you would not want that to be completely sealed off at some point, or just hovering over it. I guess. Oh, there you go. So whenever the throttle's fully closed, we have a 60 thousandths gap, and then whenever we hit the throttle, it closes. That's what you want right there. Okay. Well, as far as I know, that's what you want. Okay. So, it's like we have our 15 thousandths on the accelerator pump, our 60 thousandths on the vent. Next thing is the choke. And now, set the choke. First we got to put the gasket on there and put the choke thermostat on. Okay, so new choke thermostat, and should have a line on it. Mark somewhere. Yeah, right there. So that mark should be lined up. It's a mark right there. Start out lined up with this mark, and then we're supposed to go one or two either way to get the choke where we want it. So let's go ahead and put this bad boy on. You just got to get that spring hole on that lever right there. All right, now just get our hold down. You know what, I need to clean that. Alright, got this all cleaned up. You can see this hold down. It has shape to it. It's actually a spring. So you got to make sure you get that on there properly so it holds pressure on this when it's tightened up. Put our screws in there. Can't have a dirty, greasy choke pull-off hold down on a brand new, clean as a pin carburetor, newly rebuilt carburetor. We're just going to screw that down on there. Not real tight. Kind of leave it loose. Okay, so we run those down there, not real tight, and then we turned our choke till our pull-off, our thermostat, until our notch was lined up with that notch, and we're sets about right there. And then when you hit the throttle, choke sets, and then the heat coming up through this tube here should put pressure on this cam right there, and then when you hit the throttle again, it pulls it off and opens it up, and then we can adjust this where we want, back and forth, to make this choke plate either open more or close more. Okay, all that's left to do is to put on the choke pull-off tube, the dash pot, the fuel line, and this heat tube. There. There we go. Okay. We're getting ready to check and see if the work we did was any good. I'm going to take this out so that I can see if the fuel comes up and pours out when I turn the key on. And then we're going to try to fire this thing up. Alright, let me turn on the key. Fuel pump is pumping. Alright. I don't see any fuel pressure just yet. we got anything here. Oh, I know. I forgot to take my clamp off of the hose in the back for it to get fuel. All right, let me try this again. All right, we are getting fuel. We're leaking a little bit right here. The float adjustment. Looks like the fuel pressure is okay. Steady at 6. Let me turn the key off, see if I can get this leak to stop. That about right, so I can shake the car and a little bit starts trying to come out the hole. So we're going to put this plug back in. I tighten this up and let's turn it back on, see how it looks. Still leaking a little bit. It's got the gasket under it. Try to sand this gasket a little bit. All I did was I held this gasket and then both sides of this nut down on a piece of sandpaper on top of a flat piece of steel and just kind of lapped it a little bit. Let's see if that did the trick. 5/8. There we go. Let's grab the air hose, dry that off a little bit. Try it again. Okay. Looks like we got our leak stopped.
Let's see if it'll bark off. So it's running. The fast idle is not where I want it to be. We need to adjust that. At about where a normal idle would be. I knew that was going to be a pain to get to. Had to adjust. Okay, we're about 1200 fast idle now. Actually about 13, might have to adjust that a little bit later. That sounds so much better already. That already sounds pretty good. See if it'll kick off. Oh, that sounds beautiful. Look at that. 725 right there. 730. Sounds perfect. Timing is right on the money. I know the throttle plate's all the way closed, so I don't think there's any work to do there. Folks, this part of the repair work, I'm going to call it good. That already just sounds awesome compared to what it was. I mean, this is a huge improvement. Getting rid of all those vacuum leaks and rebuilding the carburetor. Just I'm excited. This is the best it's ever run, I believe. So, but the real tale will be told whenever I get it back out on the road again and drive it around, which I'm going to do that tomorrow. So thank you all so much for spending this time with me and watching my videos. I really thank all of y'all that subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. Give me a thumbs up, comment, get that algorithm going. See if we can make something out of this. Rock on.